talking to head coach Matt Holtz of the Detroit men's lacrosse team. Coach, it's you've had a while to think about the season that the Titans encountered there. It was, you know, you can kind of break the season up in parts. You know, started out a little bit of a losing streak, losing a lot of tough games, some injuries there. Obviously, the end, getting very hot. Going to NCAA championship, the first round tournament game, nearly upset Notre Dame. What do you think about this year and the emotions the team and you went through this year?
Well, I think you know, we just didn't know how to win games at the beginning of the year. We were in tight games, and you know, we kept them close, or had a lead and lost it, or you know, lost in overtime and that sort of thing. And you know, it just took us a couple months to figure out how to win. And once we got a couple wins under our belt, started playing with confidence, started coming back on teams when, you know, that was the opposite in the early part of the year. You know, so I think it was exciting to come back in the MAC championship, both games, and then, you know, to have a big lead on Notre Dame. You know, that was obviously a thrill.
When you think about the season, Detroit needed to win this last game of regular season versus Canisius to get into the MAC tournament. Was there a time during that week that you just saw the look in your eye, like, this team is ready to get going here? I mean, because once they got that win, they played well right from the start, really dominated Canisius in the first period of that game, and then obviously, you know, played, you know, great in the MAC tournament, came back against Siena. But was there a period that week, or did everything just finally get click?
Well, you know, I think we came out of that Marquette game and we didn't look good in that game. We didn't play well. And I think, you know, we just kind of had to relax, and it took us a little bit to relax. But once we got, you know, during practice we were a little bit more relaxed. But once we got to that Canisius game, I think about a minute into that game we knew where we were going to be. You know, and it's tough to say that, you know, and you usually don't want to start predicting things like that. But when I saw the way we were playing in the first few minutes of the Canisius game, I said, you know, this is what we wanted, this is what we expected all year, and this is what we needed to make a run. And you know, that was kind of the turning point for me in my mind, is right there, the first few minutes of that Canisius game.
Going to the MAC tournament, obviously upsetting top-seeded Marist in that first round. Just a great defensive game by A.J. Lavelle. Then going into the championship game there, you know, down at the half. What did you tell your team in the locker room at Siena at halftime? Because Detroit really, you know, after the first couple minutes of the third period, really just dominated that MAC championship game from here on out.
Well, I didn't think that we were playing that poorly offensively against Siena. I think we were getting shots, we just weren't shooting the ball well, and I think that, you know, we kind of just said that, hey guys, keep working the offense, keep doing what we're doing, and the shots will come and they'll start going in. And, you know, we got on a little bit of a roll. I think we got 2 in a row from Drummond, and then got, you know, a couple from Bernie. So, you know, it was a matter of just kind of keeping them focused and keeping them moving forward and understanding that we were doing the right things. It was just a matter of time before, you know, our defense started clicking, AJ started making some saves, and you know, when that happened, you know, we were good to go.
Going to the NCAA tournament game, you have the big lead in Notre Dame. Now, one thing I will say about the team this week was, you know, people can go out there and say all they want. Listen, there was no pressure on Detroit. It was a money game from them. You know, if they lose by 100, hey, it's Notre Dame. They're supposed to lose by 100. But the team really, I mean, the team really felt confident that week. I know you felt confident, that coaching staff, the team was very loose, and they felt very confident going into Notre Dame that, hey, you know, we're going to give this team a game, and, you know, there's a good chance we're going to come out with it. I mean, did you feel that way too, that the team was just very confident going into that game?
Well, I felt that, you know, if we played the way we played, outside of goaltending in Siena, you know, we played really well. AJ didn't have his best game. And then in the Marist game, AJ had a great game, and the rest of the team didn't play very well. And I thought if we could bring those two together at the same time on the same field, you know, exciting things could happen. We kind of did that for the first 3 quarters. I think that, you know, we really took it to them, and you're right, we had no pressure on us. We really didn't feel like, you know, it was a game that, you know, we're going to get blown out in. We had scrimmaged them twice. We knew that we could kind of keep with them, and if we just got a few shots that went in, and a few timely saves and won some face-offs, you know, we figured, who knows, we could be in this thing, and that's kind of the way it rolled out.
You know, talking about some of the players on this team, you really got to start with the 4-year senior class. Once again, they kind of came in at a time where, you know, they committed to here with Detroit with 0-11 after its first season, and, you know, they really helped, you know, build this program. You know, one guy who needs to be recognized is Jordan Halpy. I mean, he's going to leave. He leaves Detroit as the all-time leader in cost turnovers in NCAA history. You know, honorable mention, academic, All-American. I mean, He's someone there who, when you look back at the program 20, 25 years from now, his name is going to be mentioned with this program.
Well, yeah, obviously he's a fantastic player, and he's probably, I think he's probably the best player, top to bottom, to come out of this program, to come through the program. It's just tough to be in a spot where you're an LSM, and that's just not a position where you get a ton of accolades. But he came out and he did what he did, and he played with confidence, and he played very tough. He always got the ball back for us when we needed it, and he was just absolutely an exceptional player.
Then you talk about some of the other seniors. Obviously, Jimmy Hebden really was just, you put him out there as a starter right when he was a freshman in 4 years. I mean, he turned into one of the best defensemen, if not the best defenseman in the MAC. A.J. Lowell at goalie, once again, he just had huge games at times for this program. Those are, some pretty good seniors to say goodbye to. But once again, guys who really came in here and really, helped transform this program.
Yeah, I think that, Jordan was probably the best player that this program has seen. But Jamie is, if I had to build a program again, I had to start over, I'd want Jamie Hebden there. He was the person that we kind of built our defense around over the last 4 years. He was always out there. He was the leader on and off the field from the time he was a freshman, all the way up through being a captain his junior and senior year. He was absolutely the rock that we built this run on. And then AJ was one of those kids who was, when he was on, and he was as good as anybody in the country. And he got a little bit more consistent. I think that was kind of a result of being a 4-year starter. You don't see a 4-year starter all that often in lacrosse these days, and he really kind of focused and got it together towards the end of this year, and kind of kept us in some games that we maybe shouldn't have been in, and gave us some opportunities to win games at the end.
And just talking about touching on a few other players, obviously Mike Burney. I mean, he just had a breakout sophomore season. I mean, his play, especially in the MAC tournament, was just outstanding. Obviously, Alex Maney, just a very, very consistent offensive player. He's been that way since he's gotten here, and those two guys are coming back, and that's got to put a smile on your face.
Yeah, I was told Mike that if he ever figured out that he could shoot the ball and run and be the fastest, biggest, strongest guy at the same time, that he'd be a pretty good player. We always knew he could do it. We saw him do it. It was just a matter of him kind of figuring it out in his head and getting him in a system where it took advantage of his skills. And I think when you're that big and you're that fast and you're that strong and you have that quick of a release, it's tough to stop. And he just started getting the ball on cage, and things started going in. Obviously, great breakout season for him. And Alex is the guy that everybody wants to have. You want to have a guy that's going to go out there and is going to score 20, 25 goals every year for 4 years. That's kind of a tough thing to do. There's not many people that do that. And I'm not sure if he's going to be ever a 50-goal scorer, but I think that when other people come back, I think we got Shane Adams coming back next year, and Alex and Mike. Those 3 guys are definitely something we can build an offense around.
You have a lot of guys coming back, and a lot of guys who really played well, especially towards the end of the year, to really get this run going. And we can sit here and talk for an hour about all these guys like Scott Drummond. But one guy that I really want to have you talk about is Damian Hicks. I mean, he's someone who really, the second half of the year and in MAC play, I mean, he really picked up his game. In Notre Dame, when he did winning the faceoffs there, that really helped the team. I mean, you're looking at a guy who may not have been number 1 in the depth chart to start the year, but the guy who really took that position over and on the all-newcomer team. And you really needed to win faceoffs, and he did that for you.
Yeah, Damian did a great job this year. We were very, very proud of him. He was basically a walk-on, and he took last year off, redshirted. And what most people don't know is that run at the end, he didn't practice for the last month and a half of practice because he was hurt. He was really banged up, and he really started to struggle towards the end of the games and physically, but he always kept it together. And I think that in that Siena game, we went out in that opening face-off of the overtime, and he kind of tied up the guy just enough to make him force a turnover, and that kind of was where everything rolled from there. And that's something that we've never really had an experience with, is having a guy that could go out there and just win face-offs and have that be part of our game. And we're very happy that Damian's gonna be around for another 3 years.
And Coach, last question is, I know you're very excited, obviously winning the MAC championship, getting to the NCAA tournament. But another thing that Detroit really has to be proud of is 18 kids on the MAC made MAC all academic squad. I mean, over 30 kids on the athletic director's honor roll. I mean, this team is doing it, on the field and off the field. I know that's going to make you very proud.
Yeah, I got to give credit to especially my assistant coaches for on the field, but also off the field stuff. And I think that's stuff that kind of beating into these kids and getting them get up every day and go to class. And they've been doing a great job. I think 2/3 of our team has a 3.0, had a 3.0 GPA last semester, so that's exciting. You know, and it's kids that weren't coming in here as academic superstars that are getting it done in the classroom, and I think that, you know, we're really proud of where we are academically, and, you know, I think that, you know, it's been a good thing for us.